question. This is from Micah Gross. Do you think that our fall from grace has affected more than just the human race, that is, animals? Are their days numbered because of us, etc.? Yes. In an answer, one word answer, yes. The animals definitely suffered as a result of Adam's sin. Let's go back for a moment. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 1. So we have in Genesis chapter 1, God says in verse 24, then God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature according to its kind. So where do these come from? From the earth. All right. They came out of the earth. Cattle and creeping thing, beasts of the earth according to its kind. And God made the beast of the earth according to its kind, etc., etc. All right. And then God said, let us make man in our image. Now, here he's quite pithy about what he says concerning man. But in chapter 2, we're given a much more detailed look at the creation of Adam and Eve. And so it says in Genesis 2:7, and the Lord formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. So what we see then is that God created, he said to the earth, let the earth bring forth the living creatures, and these animals came out of it. They came where? Out of the dust of the ground. They came out of the same substance that Adam was made of, right? God took that same substance, dirt, dust, and he fashioned Adam, he breathed into him, and he became a living being, okay? Le nefesh chaya, same word for animal. Interesting. It's very interesting that it's the exact same word, but God made Adam the master of all the animals. He says that in Genesis chapter 1. He says, see, I have given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed. To you it shall be food. Except, let me go back one verse, sorry, verse 28. Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. All right, so Adam was given dominion over everything. We also see that in Psalm chapter 8. So the dirt, the soil is called Adamah. All right, we know it collectively as the Eretz. So he makes the animals out of the Adamah. He makes Adam out of the Adamah. Let's switch the word Adamah for Legos. All right. So God makes Lego Planet. All right, and then he takes some of those Legos and he forms them into animals. All right, and then he takes some more of those Legos and he forms man. And then he breathes in life into this Lego man. And he tells Lego man, you're now responsible for everything. You're to subdue it. You have dominion over it. Now, when Adam sinned, when he brought death and decay into his own substance, dirt, guess what? That substance then went into the rest of the creatures. It went into the very dirt itself. It went into the very dust, the substance. And because the animals were brought out of that same substance, they suffered the same fate that Adam suffered, right? So we have in Genesis chapter 3, God says to Adam, he says, because you have heeded the voice of your wife and have eaten from the tree of which I commanded you, saying you shall not eat it, cursed is the ground for your sake. All right, so there's a question. Did God curse the earth, or was he actually declaring what had just happened? I would suggest the latter, that God was not so much, saying, okay, poof, now the earth is cursed, right? And I'm the one cursing it, but I would suggest that God is declaring what happened. Okay, it's not that God is doing, but God is declaring what happened. And now he's saying, hey, by the way, Adam, sorry, but the earth is now cursed. All right, so because it's ahu, it is cursed as a result of what you did. You were the one who cursed it. And now I'm just telling you, I'm the messenger that cursed is the ground because of you, for your sake, because of you. And now you're going to have to toil from it all the days of your life. and the sweat of your face you shall eat bread till you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken, for dust you are, and to dust you shall return. Now let's cruise over to the New Testament. This is in Romans chapter 8, verse 19. So here Paul says, for the earnest expectation of the creation eagerly waits for the revealing of the sons of God. For the creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because of him who subjected it in hope, because the creation itself will also be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groans and labors with birth pangs together until now. Not only that, but we also who have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, eagerly waiting for the adoption, the redemption of our body. All right, so you put all those together, and what do you get? We get a picture that suggests that when Adam, the Adam from the Adamah, when he, as the federal head of creation, when he sinned, when he experienced death, decay, degeneration, that death, decay, and degeneration then spread from him to the like substance, Adamah, all right, the earth, the dirt, the soil, where Paul tells us that the very creation itself is groaning, waiting to be liberated from the bondage of corruption. Well, guess what? The animals also come from the Adamah, and they also are waiting to be delivered from that. And that's why it's going to be so amazing when we get to the age to come, that the animals are going to lie down with one another, and they're not going to try to eat each other. The little child is going to play by the viper's den and is going to lead the lions, etc. Because their curse, the curse that Adam brought upon them, that same curse has been lifted from the entire planet. So, great question. That was a really fun one.